Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's April 5th, 2024, and this is the show where I do Prog news for you guys. I do the top 5 Prog news headlines, talk about the top 5 Prog singles for the week, and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel on Nathan on Shuffle. Always a fun time to just do a casual show, basically just talk about what's interesting to me in this world, and hopefully you guys are along for the ride and enjoy these episodes week to week. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I always like to give a plug to subscribing to the channel. It helps me to gauge the interest level and to just continue to bolster up the channel and bring a lot of new interest and, please the YouTube algorithm gods and all of that good stuff. So let's get into the news items today. So Prog headline number 1, I usually like to talk about the new releases for the week. Once again, kind of similar to last week, there aren't really any big new releases that I'm aware of. One new release, of course an older album, but a new reissue, new version of it. Gentle Giant's Missing Piece came out this week, the new Steven Wilson remakes. Just got my copy in. I haven't been able to listen to it yet, but it's a very cool classic prog album. Maybe the first signs of Gentle Giant kind of moving towards a more mainstream direction. The first half of the album is them kind of experimenting with more popular styles of music, so to speak, but then they get back to more of their proggier sounds in the second half of the record. But I've heard good things about this remakes and all the things that Steven Wilson is doing with these classic prog records, so I thought I'd mention that at the outset, that's been released and is out there for your consumption. So second headline of the week, a little bit of an update in the Dream Theater camp. Mike Portnoy has finished recording drums for their upcoming album, and the band has finished writing the whole new record. So it seems like it's moving along at a really good, quick pace. There's a little video on social media that I saw that had Mike Portnoy and John Petrucci kind of talking about this very briefly, and they seem really excited about it. I'm guessing if they're already finished with the drums and the writing of the record, that it could be very well released by the end of this year, maybe later in the fall time. But of course, there's still a lot that has to be done. They have to record all the other instruments. They have to do all the mixing and mastering. And, all of the lyrics, I think, still need to be written and things like that. So there's a lot of work left to be done. But I'm always excited to see how this is moving along, because Dream Theater has always been one of my favorite groups. And the return of Mike Portnoy to the group has been really exciting for me. So excited to see where they go from here. This is an interesting development as our headline number 3. This new outfit with Adrian, Belew, Tony Levin, Danny Carey, and Steve Vai. They're going to be called Beat, and they're performing some classic King Crimson 80s albums together, like a super group of sorts, just to play a big selection of live dates throughout North America, starting in September, it looks like. Of course, Adrian, Belew, and Tony Levin were part of King Crimson. Steve Vai is just a legendary guitar virtuoso in the scene, and Danny Carey is the drummer of Tool. So they will be playing a reinterpretation of the 3 iconic 80s King Crimson albums, Discipline, Beat, and 3 of a Perfect Pair. So it'll be interesting to see how this group of musicians takes on this challenge and makes it their own, but also pays homage and tribute to classic King Crimson. So just thought that was really fascinating, so I wanted to mention it. Item number 4, I saw Psychotic Waltz. They announced their comprehensive back catalog reissue campaign. They released their 5th studio album, The God-Shaped Void, in 2020 on Inside Out Music. And this is their first time making their entire high-quality catalog available again on LP and CD formats on the label, on Inside Out Records. So these are all available for pre-order. There's 2 different street dates in May and July of this year when all of this is going to be released. It's the band's classic first 4 albums, The Social Grace from 1990, Into the Everflow from 92, Mosquito from 1994 with new artwork by Travis Smith, and Bleeding from 1996. New remasters, 2 CD digipacks with rare previously unreleased bonus material as well with these releases. There's an additional demo rarities compilation called To Chase the Stars that's going to be made available as well. And of course all the vinyl, gatefold, colored editions as well, all available for pre-order. I'm not too familiar with Psychotic Waltz. It seems like they're a pretty influential classic, like prog metal kind of outfit. So I'm interested to check these out potentially and to see what they're all about. It's a good way to get into their catalog and to get excited about a classic progressive metal group. And then finally, my last piece of news here, item number 5, Pendragon announced new reissue of their 1996 album, The Masquerade Overture, which is celebrated as one of their best works, concept album, and it's going to be remastered and featuring some newly spruced up artwork on both CD and vinyl. It was their 5th studio release, recorded by Nick Barrett, Pete Gee, Clive Nolan, and Fudge Smith lineup. One of their most popular releases that sold over 90,000 copies. The new reissue is also going to feature the tracks Schizo and King of the Castle, both of which featured on the bonus disc that came with the original CD. So it seems like they were about to repress this album, but they thought, why don't we spruce it up and smarten it up for 2024 and include some remastering and some bonus content. So I thought that would be cool. It seems like they're heading out on a tour of Europe and the UK in May. That's going to include 2 of their VIP weekends in both the UK and Poland at the beginning and end of the tour. So some activity from Pendragon. Really like them. They're one of the really early neo-prog groups that came into the scene, and I think they've remained as one of the more interesting ones through to this day. I've really liked some of their recent releases as well. So the CD version of the Masquerade Overture will be released April 12th, and the vinyl will be to follow, but I'm not sure if that has an actual date yet, but they should be both available on the merch stand during the forthcoming tour that they're going on. So now moving into our prog singles list, Transatlantic have Lay Down Your Life from the Live Morse Fest release that's coming out in April, a really big sprawling set. I think some people are already getting their pre-orders in that ordered from Radiant Records and such. I'm excited to get my copy, of course, as a big Transatlantic super fan, but this is a really cool live performance featuring some vocals from Ted Leonard, which is really interesting, so it should give you a good indication of what to expect on this big sprawling live set that could very well be the last major Transatlantic release that will exist, since the band's basically gone on hiatus, possibly ending as a group, but we'll see what the future holds if they'll ever regroup in some form. Wheel released their track Porcelain from their upcoming album Charismatic Leaders, which is coming out May 3rd. This is more of a progressive metal along the lines of like a Tool. Another cool track to check out from them that I really like. I think that's going to be a really cool album to cover on the channel. And then Adrian, The Day That the World Breaks Down, the live version. This is from their big sprawling live set that's coming out, 01011001 Live Beneath the Waves. Coming out on Mascot Label Group on May 17th, featuring their big sold out show that they had. You know, Adrian is the project from Arjen Lucassen. That's like big concept albums, lots of guest vocalists, and they put on a spectacle show that's centered in one location. They don't really tour around. Arjen Lucassen famously is not really a fan of live performances, but puts together these really epic showcases and then releases them as these big packages for live releases. So should definitely be a cool one to check out. 2 lesser known bands, I'd say, that have some cool new singles out that I want to bring attention to. The first is Azure and their track Sky Sailing, Beyond the Bloom, and Wilt. It's like 3 tracks in one, this big kind of selection from their upcoming album called FYM, F-Y-M, that comes out on May 23rd. You could describe them as progressive rock with a little bit of progressive metal flavor, a lot of fantasy inspiration in their lyrics and stories, power metal also, just a lot of different vibes going on with some really theatrical, expressive vocals as well. So it's a really cool smattering of music from their upcoming album that I think gives a good indication of what you may expect. A really cool upcoming double concept album that I think deserves some attention. And then a new band that came across my way through a promo from my inbox that they sent out to me, Sycophant, and their track Between Air and Water. They released this as their first single from their upcoming debut self-titled record. Just really great classic rock meets prog. Think old school Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, maybe a bit of early Rush. This is an Oslo-based band from Norway. Really great record that I'm excited to talk about when it comes out. I believe it comes out later in May officially, but this single is available on streaming services and on YouTube, so I wanted to put this on the list. I think it could be of interest to many of you that watch my channel. So that's what I've got with the news. Nothing too big, nothing too major, but I wanted to still get on and do a show for you guys. This week I felt was pretty stacked on the channel. I did a cruise review with Jana for our Cruise to the Edge experience, which I really urge all of you to check out. It was really fun to put together. She put in some photos and things into the video, so it's a really good view of what our experience was during that time, and I really recommend checking that out, as well as the companion piece that showcases the footage of the different concerts that we went to. So that's a cool way to experience it as well. And I did a big recommendation episode, my big Q1 to 2024 review, where I talked about the albums that I've loved this year so far in this first quarter, and 16 new album recommendations that I hadn't talked yet about on the channel. It's been getting a lot of good attention, really good views and numbers for me at least, and really excited for the comments and for people being excited about that episode. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This week on the channel sees the return of Prog Song Sunday with Jana with a classic Yes track. I wanted it to be last weekend, but it just didn't work out. But we're definitely going to have it this weekend. We've already filmed it. It's already good to go. So expect that to come out Sunday morning. And I'm going to do a couple of shorter recommendation shows. I've talked about this on the channel, how I'm going to focus on these kind of shorter album recommendation episodes, because I can't really give every album this big sprawling review and spotlight like I tend to do. So these will be like 2 to 3 minutes maybe of me just talking about a new album that's just recently come out that I really love and why I would recommend it to you guys. So I'm going to try that out with a couple new albums that I've been digging that have come out lately, and hopefully you guys like that kind of content. So let me know in the comments any other new releases that I may have missed. I feel like there's a lot of new releases in the music world at large. Just within the niche of prog, I wasn't finding much to really dig my teeth into this weekend. But let me know in the comments. Maybe there's something out there that I just kind of skipped over. So always appreciative of everyone contributing and giving ideas of what's out there. It always helps me to find more music, and that's always my quest in life, is to find more great music. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and enjoy the music, everybody. Bye!